I want to briefly talk about definitions. How our communication skills and especially understanding around them all depends on how we understand words. Words only have the meaning that we give them. And I want to talk about how the definitions are only here to guide us in one direction, and yet we have the capacity to open up to what these definitions mean to us, or whatever these words we're using mean to us. So here are a few words I'm going to discuss today about what do they mean. So the 4 words that I want to discuss today is art, meditation, yoga, and 5K. Just because. So I'm going to talk about these 4, and they touch on different things. And at the end of the day, I'll start with art. They actually, it's all of them are talking about the same thing. It's really about creativity. It's about creating new meaning to what already exists. So let's use art for example. If you are not an artist, if you're not somebody who's painting, drawing, or whatever, dancing, any form of art, and you're not doing that, chances are that if I ask you to take a piece of paper and draw an apple, a house, a person, that your initial answer is, I can't draw. Anything we touch can be considered art. Because there's always a moment that I have to be creative with how things show up. And so when I look about drawing something, I have something on my heart here, right? I painted this heart. It's not finished, still working on it. I can show this piece that's just right here that I drew, mom's only, right? And there is a piece where people go say, oh, this is so beautiful. I love it. It's great. And if I would ask them to do it as well, the answer is I can't do that. And so it isn't about the definition. It's about the limitations that we put on ourselves of what these words mean. Use meditation, for example. You might not be able to sit quietly without doing anything for a prolonged time. Maybe that is you. And that doesn't mean you can't meditate. It's just a question, what does meditation actually mean? Meditation might mean sitting in, let me use this beautiful Buddha here as an example. Maybe this is considered meditation. Him sitting here or her in cross-legged, eyes closed, right? Yes, that could be meditation. Creating art can be meditation. Taking a walk without listening to other things, but just being present with our step can be meditation. Washing our dishes, folding our laundry can be meditation. So you can see where I'm going with this is really to understand that yes, there is maybe a socialized definition, a way that we understand what it to be is. That is okay. And yet, I want to expand. The moment we say, I can't do this, is when I want to expand our personal connection to that word and asking ourselves, what can I not do? What do I want a little bit more focus on? Or where do I want to open my horizons a little bit? That goes with yoga, from not being flexible enough, when in fact it has nothing to do with flexibility. What you will do, the more you practice, the more flexible you become. Meaning you don't have to be flexible already to start it. At the end of the day, yoga as a whole, if we really understand what yoga means, it's 8 limbs that make up yoga, where meditation is one of them. The postures of yoga that we usually consider yoga to be is one of them. But there are 6 other pieces to that make up the practice of yoga. There is the way I hold myself in the environment of other people. There is the part of how I hold myself towards myself, talking about kindness, talking about how I show up for myself. And so these are really aspects of how I can stretch my definitions that are out there in a dictionary, in a book, right? Or website. And so the last one I want to talk about is a 5K, because I'm doing one. And I said this before, maybe you have heard me say this before, but for me, a 5K does not equal running 5K. All it means to me is that there is a fixed distance given to you, that is 5K, and I have the means to go through that however you want. Walking, jogging, running, crawling if you had to, which probably will take way too long. So at the end of the day, it's up to us. How do we want to show up for those things? And yes, we can limit ourselves and just say like, I can't do that, so I can just lean back and not do it. Or, which is my preferred version, is ask myself, what is it that I define it to be as that I can't not do this? If it is a physical thing, let's talk about 5K or yoga, for example, there are other ways that we can still do that. It's about being more creative in our minds on how I meet these certain activities and how I want to go about them. So that's really what this conversation is about, is for you to redefine the existing definitions and to explore them in a way that fits you and that you can actually do more than you anticipated to do. And so there's obviously all these different definitions I could go through. Please share with me, what other words would you like me to explore and redefine for you? All right, have a good day.